Hey, this is Big Paul, superfan of the West Virginia Miners, and you're listening to my good friends Michael and Quenton on the Prospects for Success podcast.
Hi, I'm Quenton.
And I'm Michael.
And this is Prospects for Success podcast, where we bring you our thoughts on Prospect League baseball.
News, notes, opinions, and our favorite happenings.
Thanks for joining us for episode 5.
Okay, so we're about halfway through the first half now, and it's been a wild season already in the Prospect League. We thought it'd be a good idea to take a look at who the current division leaders are, because the first half division leaders automatically have a spot in the playoffs at the end of the year. So we wanted to take a look at who's on top in each division right now, and just see which of those teams we think are going to hold on to that division lead and win their first half, and which of those teams might get caught. So right now, if we take a look at the Eastern Conference, the Ohio River Valley Division, the Chillicothe Paints are on top. They're at 11-3. They've won 8 in a row. In the Wabash River Division, the Danville Dans are technically on top right now at 9-6. But Illinois Valley, the Pistol Shrimp are 8-6. Lafayette Aviators are 8-6. So they've got one game to play, and they're right behind them according to the standings on the website right now. Over in the Western Conference, in the Great River Division, the Normal Corn Belters are the only team above 500 there. They're 9-5. And then in the Prairie Land Division, the Alton River Dragons are 10-5. But the O'Fallon Hoots have won their last 4, and they are 9-8. Bearing in on them, the Cape Catfish, Springfield Lucky Horseshoes are at 7-8, not too far behind them. So what do you think, Quenton? Who's going to keep their lead, and who's going to get overtaken for the first half?
I think Danville will get overtaken by the Illinois Valley Pistol Shrimp, because, they're only one game behind according to the standings. Chillicothe Paints are going to hang on, obviously. It's pretty obvious by now. Normal Corn Belters, they might hang on. If the Quenton Lumber Kings can, continue winning games, then they'll be okay. They'll be up there. Now, the O'Fallon Hoots and Alton River Dragons, that's going on. They're up there. But I think Alton River Dragons and the Prairie Land Division will hang on and clinch their spot in the playoffs.
Okay, I think it would take quite a feat for anybody to catch the Paints right now. We were just at their game last night with the Kings. The Paints have won 8 in a row since they started 3-3. That's exactly the kind of a streak that can really cinch up a division. It's going to take a lot for anybody else to catch them. So, yeah, I think the Paints are pretty much a lock to win the first half in the Ohio River Valley. But I got to tell you, I still think, over in the Prairie Land Division, I still think the Cape Catfish have a chance. They're 7-8 right now. They lost their last game. But I don't know. Every time I'm watching parts of their games, every time I'm looking at their box scores, I think they've got a game that plays really, really well. And if any of these teams are going to get caught, I think Danville is going to be fine. I know that's a tight race over there for Danville. I know that's a tight race in the Wabash River Division right now, but I think Danville's going to be fine in that one. I think the Cape Catfish have a legit chance of catching the Alton River Dragons in the Prairie Land. That's important. Making that first half, getting that first half, winning the first half of the season. That's pretty important in this league. The way the playoffs are set up. So, with that said, are any thoughts right now about who you think is gonna? Who has really not had a great season right now that you think is going to turn it around?
Well, the Champion City Kings, their record is 4-9 right now. They lost their last 2. Of course, they lost to the Paints last night. But I know Gavin Murphy, he'll get his guys together and turn the season around. Maybe catch the Paints, clinch the playoffs. Kings find the way.
They do have a good team. They really do. I mean, the game last night absolutely could have gone either way. It was aggressive base running by the Kings, but it took a perfect defensive play, fielding in center field by Ben Gabor. It took a perfect throw to the third baseman and a perfect tag, and it all just kind of worked. We've said it several times on this podcast how aggressive base running forces you to play great defense, and great defense is really at a premium in this league. It was aggressive base running that got the Paints the go-ahead run on a steal of third, throw to third, ball gets away, runner scores. And so it really, in a league where, everybody's cranking out these 9, 10, 11-run games, sometimes it's those small things that really do end up making the big difference in whether you win or lose a game.
Yeah, I mean, games now, top score games, it matters on the one play. Ninth inning, one play. That all it takes in a high score game like that. If I'll be honest, I thought the Kings had it in the bag the way they were playing. They were up by 2. Then Chillicothe was tied. Then we're up by 3, and then Chillicothe finally came back and tied it. And then they just scored that go-ahead run and then won the game.
Yeah, Chillicothe's starter, he didn't even make it 3 innings. When they pulled him after 2 2/3,
yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a long night because Jackson's gonna have to use the Paints manager, Jackson White. He's gonna have to use a lot of his bullpen tonight. But he got like a 4-inning relief outing that really set the table. Cruz McFadden, everybody loves him at the stadium because he's a local kid. He went to high school in the area of Chillicothe, and so he's playing for the Paints now. It's kind of one of those childhood dream kind of deals. He came in like the 7th inning and shut it down the rest of the way. And the Kings, they put up a little rally in the 9th, but things just kind of didn't go their way. But it's one of those things. I would not be shocked at all if in the first half, no, I don't see anybody catching the Paints in the first half. But second half, I absolutely can see the Kings putting it together, making a run, and winning that second half title.
Yeah, it's possible. It might be a repeat of last year's first round.
Oh, I would love a repeat. I would love a rematch of that first round playoff matchup last year.
Sadly, my favorite team, the Miners, lost last night against Johnstown in 7 innings, 14-3. Couldn't really go our way last night. We did got a 2-run shot, home run, to make it 3-14. So at least it's not that bad. You got a home run out of it. Kids were happy in Chillicothe. They were screaming home run. They got their home runs. Almost got hit by a foul ball. That was a nice experience.
Yeah, we did take a screamer on the third base side last night, didn't we?
But, hopefully Champion City can pull it together tonight. So can West Virginia. Danville, normal, they can pull it together. Hopefully Danville beats Chillicothe tonight. Because I still have hope that the Miners may be able to maybe climb their way back.
Yeah, you've pointed out something pretty important there. The Paints, this 8-game run that they've had has all been against other teams in the Ohio River Valley Division.
They have not beat a team in other conferences.
Yeah, they haven't beat anybody outside of their own division yet. And so coming into a stretch where they're going to play some more games outside of their division, that could bring the Paints back to the field a little bit.
They are 0-2 in playing.
Yeah, they lost those 2 games in Terre Haute.
People in their division. So Danville, if I had to choose, Danville's on top in this game.
All right, we will see what happens with that. We've had another interesting discussion that's gone on for the last couple of days as we've gone through this. Now, Quenton, you may not remember a time, but I've been, I'm in my 50s now, and so been watching baseball for a long time. The game does change. The game does change over time. Things do change. Things do happen. Not often and not quickly, but the game does change. One thing that has changed when I was watching baseball growing up, when I was your age watching baseball, batters didn't have walk-up music. They didn't play some different song every time the next home batter came to the plate. So now, I'm not a total baseball purist. I think it's a pretty cool idea. All right, I like bringing some of the individuality, bringing some of the personality into the game, letting them have their walk-up music. I think it's pretty cool. So let's talk a little bit about who has the best walk-up music in the Prospect League, past or present.
Ben Gabor.
Okay, Ben Gabor for the Paints. Been totally digging on his walk-up music, and we'll throw a snippet of it into the podcast if we can. We got to be careful about how much licensed music we play during these things, but we'll throw a piece of that in there when we can. How about from the past? Who have you kind of really liked their walk-up music for in the past?
Dallas Hall.
Yeah, and Dallas Hall used
Desperado.
Desperado by
Rihanna.
Yeah, Rihanna's Desperado as his walk-up music, which was pretty cool. All right, but now, okay, let's. If you are fortunate enough one day to play in the Prospect League, and you're in the starting lineup, what's your walk-up music?
Ben Gabor's.
You're gonna steal his walk-up music.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Ben Gabor will stand in. And ground out to shortstop and a sac fly to center field. His 2 trips. 0 for 1. Champion City 5, Chillicothe 4.
You think he's gonna be okay with that?
I mean, the miners did it to Dallas Hall.
Oh, good point. Good point. Because somebody for the miners is using Rihanna's Desperado this year, aren't they?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, we'll see if we may have to see if Ben has anything to say about you wanting to use that walk-up music later on. Now I'm older, so with the way the temperatures have been in the Prospect League this year, lately for these games, 90 plus out there. Plus, when you want your walk-up music to be something that helps you get going, that helps you get fired up, that helps you get that streak running, so that you can really contribute to the team. I think I would absolutely have to pick my walk-up music would be Buster Poindexter's "Hot, Hot, Hot." I just think that's a classic. That's a perfect walk-up song for a hitter. Yes, it's 80s music.
Oh yeah, and the Paints are actually the only team that are at 700 right now.
Yeah, that winning percentage,
almost 800.
That winning percentage will go a long way. Nobody else in the Ohio River Valley Division is at 500 right now. Again, mostly because they've just been taking turns getting beat by the Paints. But like we said, we haven't seen the Paints have had zero success against anybody outside the division. So that 11-3 record can be a little deceiving.
I mean, yeah, especially for Danville. I mean, you saw last year they got shut out 10-0, 5 innings.
I think this stretch of games where the Paints are going to have to play a little more outside of their division is going to tell a lot about what this team's made of.
Yeah.
All right, let us know, hey, out there, if you're listening to this podcast, let us know what your walk-up music would be. Give us some ideas about what you would pick for your walk-up music. Let us know what you think about the current division leaders and who's gonna finish the first half leading in their division and who's gonna get overtaken. And we will see you at the ballpark.